Welcome to a pictorial report of the championship game of the 1956 Girls State Basketball Tournament. Preceding the big game, the Parade of Champions, the 12 teams eliminated up to the semifinal round. From Buena Vista County, winners of Twin Lakes and county tournaments, coached by Wesley Lawler, the Hurricanes from Albert City High School. From Ringgold County, with only 20 enrolled in the school, coached by Albert R. Troyer, Beaconsfield High School. From Wapello County, the Wapello County Conference and County Champs, coached by Charles O. Weatherwax, Blakesburg High School. From Cedar County, the Cedar County Champions, coached by J. C. Gallagher, Clarence High School. From Lee County, county champions for 7 consecutive years, coached by Don Finney, Donaldson High School. From Guthrie County, Coon Valley Conference champs and county champs, coached by Orville Frazier, Guthrie Center High School. From Ida County, appearing in its 6th state tournament, coached by Whitey Thompson, Ida Grove High School. From Mahaska County, conference champions, coached by Ed Chris, the Drivers from New Sharon High School. From Pottawatomie County, the county champions, coached by O. E. Lester, Oakland High School. And from Clay County, the Clay County Conference and the county champions, coached by Bill Ferdine, Royal High School. From Calhoun, Webster County, coached by Ed McNeil, from Somers, Cedar Valley High School. From Polk County, county champions, coached by Bob Anderlich from West Des Moines, Valley High School. This, the Parade of Champions, the 12 state tournament teams eliminated to the semifinal round of play. Now, the 1956 championship game. Maynard and Garrison, the captains of the teams, meet with officials to clarify rules prior to the opening tip-off. Garrison will be in the white uniforms, and play begins in the championship game, and Garrison with control of the ball. Maynard in the dark uniforms. Garrison in the forward court, paced by Sylvia Froning, number 99, with the ball now. The magnificent job in the opening phases of the tournament. A basket to start things off by Nancy Pennell, number 88. And there's an exhibition of the Maynard technique as Carolyn Nicholson, number 21, drives in for an opening basket. This, the championship game of the 1956 girls tournament. In the white uniforms, trying to get that shot away, Garrison High School. Free throw attempt. Good. A second attempt. Missed. By Sylvia Froning, number 99. While first quarter play continues, we'll check the starting lineups for you and the lineups that played a majority of the championship game. With control of the ball now, Maynard. That shot was by Carolyn Nicholson. Carolyn, number 21, 5'4", a senior, who scored 979 points coming into this championship game. That's for the season. Number 33, Virginia Hennigas, 5'8", freshman, who had scored 421 points in her season up to this game. Other forward court performer for Maynard, Glenda Nicholson, number 51. Glenda playing pivot. Glenda, 5'10", junior, who scored 1,088 points for the season coming into this championship game. Now the guard assignments for Maynard. Marlene Becker, number 23, is a 5'5" senior. Number 31, Dorothy Fetkether, a 5'8" junior, and by the way, we see the Maynard guards working now. And number 41, who is the out guard there, we see her, Dorothy Fish, 5'3", a senior. That's the Maynard starting lineup. Garrison with control of the ball in the forward court now. Sylvia Froning with the ball, number 99, 5'8" junior, who scored 947 points in her season up to this championship game, now in progress. Other starting forwards for Garrison, Nancy Pennell, Nancy 5'1", a senior. And number 77, Ann Ahrensberg. Ann, 5'7½" and a senior, who had scored 787 points in the year coming into this championship game. Now the starting guard assignments, and we see the Garrison guards working here now. 00, Gayleen Selk, a 5'8" senior. Number 90, Barbara Beyer, 5'10" junior, and Dolores Selk, a 5'7" junior. Those were the teams that played a major part of the game, with very little substitution in this, the big game, the championship game. Now, to the action in this first quarter. Garrison controlled play throughout a majority of the first quarter. Garrison jumped to a 12-6 advantage in this first period, mainly behind the tremendous play of Sylvia Froning, now shooting and scoring. Sylvia, the 5'8" junior. So during this first period, paced by Sylvia's expert shooting from the field and free throws, as evidenced here, one made and one missed, controlled a 12-6 advantage at the midpoint. Then the Maynard team started to settle down and get over those championship game jitters, start working the ball around, and began to score in the closing phases of the first period. But at one point, it looked like Garrison pulling away. The story was to change, however, as the game progressed. A capacity crowd of nearly 15,000 people witnessed this championship game at Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. Thrills every second of the tournament, climaxed by this and the great play of Sylvia Froning in that first period. Now let's watch the Maynard team as they try to fight back and overcome tremendous shooting by Froning of Garrison. Working the ball back and forth, the two out forwards, number 21 with the ball, that's Carolyn Nicholson now, working over to Hennigas, number 33. Hennigas trying a shot and scoring. Virginia Hennigas, number 33. And with those baskets, a couple of them by Hennigas at this time, the team started to come back, but there again, Froning scoring. The Maynard defense unable to cope with Sylvia Froning in the first quarter. Froning scored 12 points in that first period, 12 of 16 that were scored by the Garrison team. Now here's Maynard trying to work it in, and there's that second basket by Virginia Hennigas, keeping Maynard in the race. At that time, the score was 14 for Garrison and 11 for Maynard. Maynard starting to pull up in the closing phases of the first period of action. Here's Froning again, though, always number 99, working constantly and giving the Maynard guards fits. Number 51, Glenda Nicholson, shooting from the free throw line, and another foul called. Incidentally, the officiating was excellent throughout the entire tournament. Finest officials of the state calling an excellent tournament this year. Maynard, there's Carolyn. Passing off to Hennigas, but shot no good. Now we move along, and as the clock ticks away in this first period, time is short. As Maynard tries to bridge the gap, and a bucket by Carolyn Nicholson, a little 5'4" senior for Maynard, brings them closer. And there's the first quarter score. Garrison 16, Maynard 14. Now back to the action and the second quarter of play. 16 for Garrison, 14 for Maynard. And so after trailing in the midpoint of the quarter, first period, 12-6, Maynard back in the ball game now and going to make a game of it from this time on. But it seemed like in this second period, and incidentally a period not too many baskets, more defensive work, it seemed like the Maynard team could not completely overtake and get ahead of the Garrison team. Carolyn Nicholson passing back and forth to Hennigas. And there's a basket to open the second quarter, making the score 16-16, the basket by Carolyn. And right back, Froning to make it 18-16. Now this was the pattern throughout the second period. Maynard scoring to tie the ball game, and then Garrison coming right back to pull ahead again. It seemed as if Maynard just could not gain an advantage. Two real fine basketball teams, very well balanced, great defensive combinations, making it very tough on the forwards, and it showed in this second period when scoring was down. Here's Garrison. Garrison in the white uniforms, Maynard in the dark uniforms. Garrison and Maynard, the ball game at this point was all tied up in the start of the second quarter, all tied up 18-18. Again, those Maynard guards giving a rough time. Froning, after a brilliant first quarter, scored only 2 points in the second period. She scored 12 out of 16 in the first quarter, and then the Maynard guards got the combination. Now there's Carolyn again for another basket, and once again, the Maynard team trying to catch up, but in each case could only tie the ball game. It was tied at 16 all, and then 18 all. And in each case, Garrison would pull ahead. Garrison from Benton County, a town population of only 460. High school enrollment, 96, 60 girls in the school, Garrison High School. Garrison coached by Ben Corbett, a 1948 graduate of Coe College. And incidentally, this trip by Garrison was the first trip to a state meet for a coach and for a Garrison team. Maynard, in control of the ball here, is from Fayette County. Population almost the same, the town population, 450. High school enrollment slightly larger than Garrison. They have 141 and 70 girls. Maynard coached by Mel Cooperschmidt, 1948 graduate of Iowa Teachers. This, again, first trip to a state meet for a team from Maynard. So, of course, very important game, as it always is, this championship game. And play continues. Number 77, that's Ann Ahrensberg, finally scoring in this low-scoring second period. Maynard right back there. It was Carolyn Nicholson all the way in this second period. She scored all the points for Maynard in the second quarter. Total of 12, incidentally. And she kept them in the ball game in that second period. In the consolation round game, Eldora defeated Grafton 72-64, and Eldora thus winning the third place position in the 1956 tournament. Grafton earning the fourth place position. That was in the consolation round game. In this championship game, we're in the second period of play now, and we see the pattern of action, as mentioned. great defensive work. And a low-scoring second half. In the first quarter, incidentally, the quarter that the Maynard team had a hard time getting started, Maynard missed 5 out of 7 free throws, thus, of course, missing the bonus free throw as well. And that, of course, was a deterrent to scoring for the Maynard team in the first period. Now here we see second period again. Carolyn Nicholson, the only one to spark the Maynard team in this low-scoring second quarter. And of course, the major credit goes to the defensive work of the teams in this second period of play. To advance to the championship game, Garrison defeated Ida Grove 71-68 in the first round of play. Garrison defeated New Sharon 92-69 in a record-breaking game in the second round of play. And Garrison defeated Eldora 67-53 in the semifinal round of play. Now, Maynard advanced throughout the tournament by defeating Albert City 72-44 in the first round. Maynard defeated Clarence 81-44 in the second round, and Maynard defeated Grafton in a thriller 57-54 in the semifinal round. That's how these teams advanced to the championship game. And in the championship game, we again see these teams with only about 2 points separating them throughout the entire game. However, with Maynard unable to overtake the Garrison team until the very final seconds of this half, by the way. The score was tied at 16-all. It was tied at 18-all. It was tied at 20-all. And at the half, finally, Maynard 26, Garrison 24. Now we begin the second half of the championship game. Maynard in control of the ball. And as mentioned, just at the closing phase of the second period, Maynard advanced and finally controlled the advantage 26-24. Now, after fighting for the entire half to get ahead, Maynard never relinquished this lead throughout this entire second half. Halftime scoring in the first period. For Garrison, Froning had 6 field goals and 2 free throws for 14 points. Ann Ahrensberg, number 77, had 2 and 4 for 8 points. Pennell had a field goal for 2 points. That's first quarter scoring for Garrison. For Maynard, first period scoring, or first half we should say, Carolyn Nicholson, number 21, had 7 field goals for 14 points. Glenda Nicholson had 2 and 2 for 6 points. Virginia Hennigas, number 33, had 3 field goals for 6 points. That was the scoring in the first half of play. The shot percentages, which were quite interesting in the first half. Maynard made 12 field goals of 26 attempts to shoot 46% from the field. Garrison made 9 of 20 attempts to hit 45%. In other words, the teams so very closely matched in shot percentages from the field, 46 and 45%. However, in this second half, now in progress, the tide changes. Maynard begins to hit 54%. Garrison falls to 38%. And possibly that's the story of the game. The shot percentages as the Maynard team starts zeroing in from the field. In this third quarter, the Maynard team, starting with a 26-24 advantage, continued to build that advantage to one point where they controlled a 40-29 score. There a basket by Virginia Hennigas, number 33. They continued to pour them in, while the great defensive work of the Maynard team took its toll as the Garrison team just had trouble and had to shoot from out, and there was a proverbial lid on the basket as far as the Garrison team was concerned. The Maynard guards, magnificent job. There's 41 working now. That's Dorothy Fish, a 5'3" senior. Dorothy Fetkether, number 31, 5'8" junior, and Marlene Becker, number 23, 5'5" senior. The Maynard guards exceptionally good. And the Garrison guards working now. And a foul called. Working the ball back and forth. With this advantage now, the Maynard team settling down, and the basket by Glenda Nicholson, number 51. And another foul called, and a free throw missed. This is a double shot free throw, and both of them missed by Ann Ahrensberg. Garrison team having basket troubles in this third period. Now calmly confident with that advantage. The Maynard team taking their time. That's Carolyn going into Glenda. In trouble. These Garrison guards right in there all the way. Gayleen Selk, Barbara Beyer, and Dolores Selk. And finally made one of those free throws to get the Garrison scoring mechanism going once again. This is the third period of play in the 1956 championship game. Maynard in control of the ball and controlling a very sizable advantage in this third period, when after a long, hard first half, they finally overtook the fighting Garrison team with a 2-point halftime advantage, an advantage that they built rapidly in the third period to, as we say, at one point, a 40-29 commanding advantage. And Garrison continuing with their problem of just being unable to get the range in the third period of play. You'll be interested to know, during this tournament, the leading scorer in the tournament was Froning of Garrison, who scored 160 points. Jan Armstrong of Eldora ranked second with 159 points. And that is for the entire tournament. To rank as two of the top tournament scorers, ranging in about the top 5 tournament scorers in the history of tournament play. Now here again, Garrison trying to get the range desperately, but again, great defensive work on the part of the Maynard club. Finally breaking through with that basket, number 77, Ann Ahrensberg. Free throws started clicking for Maynard in the third period, also paying off. The pressure never letting up, although the Maynard club had an advantage. Not one of the some 15,000 thought the ball game was over by any count, because in the closing phases of the third period, Garrison began finally finding the range. But theirs was to be a long, hard row to try to catch up. State tournament jitters, 2 free throws missed by Glenda Nicholson. The Maynard team slowed down the play, tried to control the ball in their forward court, let that clock spin by. Garrison with the ball, of course, always driving to the basket, trying and missing them. Now the play will slow, as you see. There's Carolyn Nicholson deliberately coming up, watching the clock. Took a peek at the clock because the seconds were ticking away in the third period now. Stalling away with the commanding advantage. Pass into Glenda and a jump call. Third period, Maynard 44, Garrison 33. Now with the tremendous deficit there in the scoreboard. Garrison tries to fight back in the fourth quarter. And certainly every one of the some 15,000 people in Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines were amazed at the fight that was demonstrated by Garrison and the fact that Garrison continually stayed in the game. The only problem was Maynard matched them almost shot for shot. And so that early advantage was built up in the third period. A 44-33 advantage by the Maynard team was an advantage that Garrison just could not overcome. Very deliberate floor work by the Maynard forwards consumed much of the time in the opening portion of the fourth period. One thing of note in this fourth period was the fact that Garrison once again had a little trouble getting started, but in the last few minutes of the fourth period, they blistered the basket and almost overtook the Maynard team. But there was just too great an advantage in the scoreboard for the Maynard club for Garrison to overtake them. But they battled on even terms in this fourth period. Both clubs fighting for the championship of the state of Iowa and the glory that goes with it. Carolyn Nicholson into Glenda. Back out to Virginia Henniges. Henniges holds. And a basket by Glenda Nicholson. Incidentally, Glenda Nicholson found the range in the third and fourth periods. The first half she didn't score very much, and then in the third and fourth periods she carried the load for the Maynard club. Glenda Nicholson, 5'10" junior, playing the pivot position for the Maynard club. Trying to use a little of that time, they pass them back and forth, and there's another basket by Glenda Nicholson. At one time, at the start, the very opening minutes of this fourth period, Maynard built their lead to 50-35. And it was at about that point that Garrison finally started finding the range after trailing by a full 15 points. Now Maynard in their forward court, this is the fourth period. The score at this particular point about, as mentioned, 50-35 or in that vicinity, a very, very comfortable lead for the Maynard team. However, as you watch the play, you would hardly believe the Maynard team was leading by that advantage. You watch Garrison play ball. Not out of the game by a long shot, firing away constantly, trying to get that range. That was Froning taking the long shots now, of course, as they're trying to hit the bucket and cut the deficit. And the Garrison guards never giving up for a moment. And Maynard aware they're in a ball game right down to the very final seconds. 40-52, there's the count, with 3 minutes 15 to go. 3 minutes 15 to go in the ball game, 52-40. So you see from the mentioned 50-35 count, the Garrison team starting to pull up now, and we'll see the play as it goes along. 52-40 with 3 minutes 15 to go. Maynard in control now. Pass into Glenda, and a basket. 54-40. And now we see Garrison starting to work the ball in, try for those buckets. Trying to catch up, trailing 54-40 as the seconds tick away. There's a quick pass, and a bucket. 54-42. But right back we come here in the Maynard team, of course, and a bucket by Carolyn Nicholson, making it 56-42. Sylvia Froning, who had a very fine first quarter and first half, starts sharpening up the free throw department, and 56-44. Back and forth they go. And as mentioned, 3 minutes, 15 seconds can tick away in a hurry. With the Maynard team almost exchanging basket for basket with Garrison. Garrison getting hot from the field, making those buckets, but Maynard coming right back. There's great defensive work by 00 Galen Self. Oh, the ball lost, and Maynard recovers. There's Carolyn Nicholson, little playmaker, going into sister Glenda. And the basket made by Virginia Hennigas. And wild long shots now, and a bucket made by Sylvia Froning. And that's the story of the 1956 state tournament. The final score, 62 for Maynard, 51 for the fighting Garrison team. And the cheerleaders arrive to congratulate. The free throw champion, Rosemarie Mellicar, Finchford Consolidated of Janesville, lives in Shell Rock, and she hit 24 of 25. Now the fourth place team, Grafton High School, receiving their award from Worth County, coached by Bill Rieger. Grafton High School, the fourth place team in the 56 tournament. The third place team from Hardin County, coached by Ed Engstrom, Eldora High School. The awards being made by Doyle Carpenter of Ottawa, director for the Northwest District for the Girls Athletic Union. Ah, there's the second place team, Garrison High School, coached by Ben Corbett. And Ben congratulating his girls on a great record. And now, the 1956 state champions, Maynard High School, Fayette County, coached by Mel Cooperschmidt, 1948 graduate of Iowa Teachers. The Cinderella girls of the 1956 tournament, Maynard High School, Fayette County. True champions with a record of 32 victories and only 1 loss this year. Garrison, the number 2 team, with 31 and 4. And so the curtain rings down on a great tournament, the 1956 Girls State Basketball Tournament.